Okay, boys and girls, now that you had a chance to look at the PowerPoint presentation for our lesson today on the commutative property, or we can call it the order property, we can take a look at our assignment for today. So we want to make sure that we understand what the commutative property is. So here in the top right-hand corner, it gives us a short definition as to what the commutative or order property says in multiplication. So it says you can multiply numbers in any order, which when we say numbers, we're talking about the factors, and the product is the same. So for example, if we have 4 rows of 3, that is the same as saying 3 rows of 4. The only thing we're doing is we're taking that array and we are rotating it to its side. So if we take a look at number 1, our question asks us to write a multiplication sentence for each array and compare the products. Now, I would also like for you to write an addition sentence to go with those as well, so that we continue practicing that skill of how multiplication is repeated addition. So if we look at our first array, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So on our paper, we are going to, for number 1, we are going to have 4 rows of 2 and our product. So our first factor tells us our rows. Our second factor tells us how many are in each row. So if we have 4 rows of 2, that means that our addition sentence would be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So when we add 2 plus 2, we get 4. And another group of 2 plus 2 is 4. And together, that would give us a product of 8. Now, we look at our second array, which is the one with the green squares, and we can see here we have 2 rows, but now we have just turned this array to its side, and now we have 4 rows, 4 in each row. So when we write an equation for this array, we have 2 rows with 4 squares in each row. Now, we aren't changing the amount of squares that are in the array. The only thing that we're doing is we're changing the direction that it's in. So our product will still be 8. All we did was change the order of the factors. And that's why they call it the order property, because we're changing the order of the factors. Now, our addition sentence would be 4 plus 4 equals 8. Number 2 asks us to draw an array and give the product for each fact. I would also like for you to write your addition sentence. So if I move to my paper here, number 2, I'm skipping a line for neatness. I have 5 times 2, and I have 2 times 5. So I draw an array first, so I know that every line is going to be a row, 5 lines, and I'm going to put 2 on each one of those 5 rows. So there are 2 rows. Here's a third row, a fourth row, and finally a fifth row of 2. So that tells me I have 2 plus these 2 plus a third 2, a fourth 2, a fifth 2. And together, those would make 10. So our product here for a multiplication equation is going to be 10. Now that we're switching the order of these factors, that's why they call it the order property, now our array is going to be a little different. Now we're going to use 2 lines of our paper. Draw 5 squares on each of those rows, each of the 2 rows. So I have 2 rows of 5. And so now all I've done is rotate this array here to its side, and now we have same array. We haven't changed any of the number of our squares in the array. We are just changing the position of the array. So now our addition sentence is 5 plus 5. And again, the product, in this case, the sum of our 2 5s added together is going to be 10. And we come back to the product. The product is going to be 10 also. If we take a look at number 3, number 3 asks us 6 times 4 equals 24. So 4 times 6 equals, so again, you have to understand the idea of what the order property tells us. It tells us that we can switch the order of the factors, but when we switch the order of the factors, our product is going to stay the same. So if we look at number 3 and we say 4 times 6 equals 24, so 6 times 4 will also equal 24, because our factors do not make, our order does not matter. The product will be the same. Number 4 asks us which multiplication fact can be paired with 2 times 6 to make a pair of facts showing the commutative property of multiplication. So when we talk about the commutative property of multiplication, we're switching the order. Notice how I keep saying order. We're switching the order of the factors. So 2 times 6 can be used to make a pair with 6 times 2. So again, we're just switching the order of factors to make the product. It's the same product. If I have 6, that's 12. If I have 6 groups of 2, when I count by 2s, I'm going to get 12. Number 5, we have a question that says, why is the commutative property of multiplication sometimes called the order property? If we don't remember, and after Mrs. Adami has been saying it many times, however, if you don't remember, we can look up at the top of page 108, 105, and in nice highlighted yellow words, it says the commutative property, order property of multiplication says you can multiply numbers in any order and the product is the same. So that means we can switch. So we call the commutative property because they're asking why can it be called the order property? The commutative property can be called the order property since, or because, you can always use because, you can switch, switch the order of the factors to get the same product. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let you finish this up. Tomorrow I will have a solutions video to finish this up so that you can check your work and make sure that you're on the right track. And then tomorrow's assignment will be to work in your practice book page, and I will also talk about that in the solution video for tomorrow as well. So I will see you tomorrow on video anyway, and I hope you guys have a great evening, and we will see you in video land tomorrow. Have a great evening.